Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to sit here and talk to you guys about a few things, like a few stories. I just want to tell you guys funny stories because I don't know, I just love watching story time sort of videos from other YouTubers. I just feel that it makes me get to know them better and I really enjoy watching such videos. I assume since you like my videos, since you're watching my videos, you might just like this as well. I don't know, just let me know what do you think. It's just something that I'm trying out, but in reality, the kind of a person I am, I talk a lot. As you can tell, I talk a lot and I have a lot of stories. Maybe because, no, I don't over dramatize these stories. I don't, I'll be honest. A lot of people think I do. My husband thinks, my brother thinks, they may be right. Like, I don't dramatize the story as such. I just say it in a very dramatic way because I just love it when people tell stories like that. So I thought I'd tell you guys a very weird, this is not even a nice story, so I don't know why I chose to tell you this, but then I just remembered this one time I was literally attacked on the road, and it's not even a funny story. Like, this is something that freaked me out really bad, and I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. I don't know, I just want to share my experience, I guess. I mean, this is a story that I haven't told anybody, I think. I don't know if, I mean, my brother knows because I called him frantically crying, but other than that, I don't know if I've told the story to anybody because when I went through it, it was extremely traumatic. I was really scared. Thankfully, it was my last day at work and I didn't have to drive around that area. I mean, it just worked out that way. Thankfully, I really thank my stars because I don't think I would be able to go back there without feeling it. I mean, I've never taken that road again. I have taken parts of, I mean, that particular tiny bit of road I haven't taken again, but then I have taken other roads, obviously, that joined into this road, and I just avoid this road all the time. It still freaks me out. Like, it's something, this was like years ago. This was about 5 years ago, and I still don't take that road. I don't like that road. I don't think I will take that road ever again, especially if I'm alone. It's not even a bad road, and this is not even something that has happened at night. I would totally, I don't know why, it's just so sad that I was about to say that I would understand if it happened at night. It's just so sad and it's just so wrong, and I'm sorry, I take my words back. I mean, I didn't say it out, actually I was thinking it, but it's not acceptable at any point. But yeah, I just want to tell you this. So of all the cities that I've lived in, and I've lived in a lot of cities, trust me when I say that I love my city. I love Hyderabad. I think it's extremely safe. I think it's extremely nice, especially towards women. People are extremely helpful over here. I have just this one bad experience probably to tell. So yeah, you know, I used to work at this place a few years ago. It was not a proper job. It was like I was interning. I just finished studying. I mean, I hadn't even finished studying to be an architect. I was, and this was my last leg. So I was interning at an architecture firm. It's a very nice firm. I loved that place. I loved my boss. I loved my colleagues. I loved every single person over there. In fact, it broke my heart to leave. I used to drive now, okay? So I used to have this Indica, which my dad sold. It's just so bad. Like, I used to have this Indica that I drove all through college. I used to drive it, and my friends actually thought I was like a truck driver because it was this diesel Indica. It made a lot of noise, and it was really difficult to drive, and I used to drive it. Like, my dad never liked it. I don't know why, because he liked his better car, and my friends didn't like it because they were used to petrol cars, and this was a little stiff. I mean, they wouldn't even believe that it was like power steering and power everything, but then it was so stiff that they just found it difficult. But I just preferred it because, you know, it gave me, it's not about my car. The story is not about my car. Let's not, but I love that car, okay? That was one of my first cars that was all mine. Like, I used to drive it all the time. Like, it went with me everywhere because nobody else liked it. It was the smelly cat of cars, but it was mine. I loved it, and my dad sold it. So I'll tell you the story some other. So this happened to be my last day. It was the last day of my internship, and I was driving back home. I was not very thrilled about it, but I mean, I was not very thrilled about it being my last day, but you know, you just have to roll with things. But anyway, so I was just driving back home, and now, if you know Hyderabad at all, this was in Banjara Hills, okay? So this had a main road. The main road's all good, and Banjara Hills is connected to this place called the Necklace Road, if you've been to Hyderabad. So Banjara Hills connects to Necklace Road through like internal roads. A lot of internal roads are there. There's one near Taj Deccan. This was just one of the many parallel roads, and this road did connect to the Necklace Road via a flyover. I think it's called the Khairatabad flyover. Okay, so I'm not sure, don't quote me on it. But I usually just went straight on the main road and just went the long way. But then so many times I would also just take the internal road because my office was there anyway. So it's not like I was going out of my way. I just take the internal road and, you know, get onto Necklace Road to get home. But this day what happened was I did the same thing. Everybody left. We had a good time. We went out for coffee and then we said bye and all of that. And I basically, yeah, I left office. I started on this road, and this was still the internal road. I haven't reached the flyover, I haven't reached the main road. This is still the internal road. So I was on the internal road and I was driving very slow because my Indica was my Indica. It was a very, I drive like a grandma, okay? People get irritated because I drive slow. Like I drive slow. People behind me are annoyed. People next to me are annoyed. People in other cars are annoyed because I'm going slow because I'm a grandma. So yeah, I was driving like a grandma. And I'm not used to, it's not new to me that people would just be like, oh, just go fast. It's not new to me because I actually drive really slow. So I was on this internal road and there was a speed breaker, and if there's a speed breaker and this was a bad one, I usually my car just pretty much stops because I go slow, and for the speed breaker I slow down even more, so my car basically just stops. But anyway, I was slowing down my car, and then there was this guy on a bike and he gestured to me to stop, and he kept gesturing like there's something falling out of my car or something. I thought maybe something stuck, and I don't even remember what I was wearing. I was not wearing a suit probably. I don't even remember if we had a dress code. We didn't. I was just interning. We didn't have a dress code, but maybe I don't know, it could have been a long top, it could have been a kurta. It was a major possibility that I had it stuck outside. So this guy kept gesturing to me and I really didn't understand. So right before the speed breaker came, I stopped my car because it was a small little road and a lot of people were there. There were too many people. This was like a crossroad, and this was way before the crossroad because there was a speed breaker right before the crossroad. Am I making any sense? Should I draw it for you guys? Should I? But it doesn't make sense, okay? It's not the point. The point is he gestured to me to stop and I stopped because there was just this one guy, other person on a bike, that's all. Everybody else was on foot because there's this small market over there in, like, if I were to go straight, but I had to go take a right. And if I went straight, there was a small little market and everything, and there were too many people over there and all of that. So it just seemed very safe. Like, I didn't even for a second think. This was about 4 o'clock in the evening. Was it 3:34? Around that time. It was an afternoon. It was absolutely bright. There was no, like, it was absolutely safe. There were so many people. There was a market right there. There were so many people. There were women, there were people selling things, there were men, there were kids, there were so many people. Like, I wouldn't, just for a second, like, I've replayed this incident in my head so many times. I just can't see why I would not stop or why I would be scared to open my door. I wasn't, and I was in a pretty decent frame of mind because, it was these people that I really liked and all. It was my workplace for a few months. I used to go there every single day. It's not like it was my first day, in that area. I had taken that road so many times before. I knew the shopkeeper over there because I used to go there for Xeroxes, or I used to go there to buy coffee and stuff like that. So it was a place that I associated with in a good way. I wasn't scared, and because he kept gesturing, I stopped my car anyway because I wouldn't open my car to get whatever was inside. So I stopped my car. As soon as I stopped my car, this guy, basically his bike was in front. Initially it was right at the side, but then he went in front of me and he stopped after the speed breaker, and I didn't even pay attention to that. I stopped my car, I got out of my car, and this guy starts yelling at me. And I didn't even know what he was yelling for. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, nothing happened, there was no, like, I didn't know this person. I'd never met him before in my life. There was no issue. Like, I don't know why he would yell at me. I don't know what he was saying. It made no sense to me. And he was screaming in English and Telugu, a bit of both. I don't know what he was trying to say. And he was just, basically, the way he was behaving was he was just coming right at me. And I just was like, listen, calm down, tell me. And then when I said, listen, calm down, he freaked out even more. And now I get why anyone would freak out when I say calm down. I mean, if anybody says calm down, people freak out. I freak out even more. but I didn't even know this person. I didn't know why he was freaking out so bad, and the way he kept coming at me was starting to, freak me out. At this point, a lot of people did come over there, and it was becoming like a scene, and I thought that, people would help out and stuff, but it was not to be at that afternoon. So I just, thankfully, power windows, power doors, everything, I just centralized lock system, I guess, whatever it's called, I don't know. So I just quickly, because I was right next to my car, I had gotten out anyway because he kept gesturing, and I just couldn't see what had fallen, which is why I got out of the car. I got out of the car because when I opened the door, I didn't know, I thought, did I drop something? What? I wasn't even probably thinking, like right now, if I think back to what I had in my mind, what I was thinking, I don't know. Maybe I was just a little confused. Did I drop something or what? I don't know. So I got out of the car, and immediately after that, he started to come at me. And I just, because my car was right there, my door was open, I just got into my car quickly, and I closed my door and I locked my door. And this guy tried to, he started to pull at my car really badly. He started to, he was trying to open my lock, and thankfully my windows were up. And when I locked my car, I locked my car. But it was just like a matter of a few seconds that I locked my car, and he tried to pull on the doors and stuff. It was really scary. It was really weird. I honestly don't know what happened, but at that point, he had a helmet in his hand, and he just took the helmet and he started banging on top of my car. And I just didn't understand why a guy who seemed perfectly normal, who seemed absolutely normal, who seemed like he was just going back home from work, would start behaving in such a weird way. I guess you find such crazy people everywhere, but then I just, these are the kind of things that you just hear about. You just never expect them to happen to you. You just hear about these things, right? It made no sense to me. I just didn't know what was going on at me at that point. I just there were people, they were probably trying to calm him down. I couldn't hear anything. I kept honking because he had parked now that I was in the car, and now that I started my car, because I just wanted to get the hell out of there. He was really damaging it. He was really hitting. Now that I think about it, I know why my dad sold my car, probably because it was of no use after that. But he kept hitting it with his helmet, and helmets are strong, guys. When I started my car, that is when I noticed that he had parked his bike right in front of my car. Like, I could not have left, okay, because it was a small lane. It was a very thin, tiny lane. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was a very thin, very tiny lane, and he had parked his bike like that. Like, this is my car. He had parked his bike like that at an angle. And, he was like, yeah, do what you want to, do what you want to. And I just freaked out so bad. He took his helmet, and he was standing a little away. At this point, I'd started to honk, and he moved, I guess, and he held his helmet in his hand, and he hurled his helmet at me. So it didn't hit, thankfully it didn't hit the windscreen, what is it called, it didn't hit the main screen, because that would have been crazy. I would have been seriously injured at that point. Thankfully, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if it was a missed aim or what. I don't know what it was. But when he hit my windscreen, I mean, he didn't hit my windscreen. It didn't even come there. He just hurled it at the bottom, and it hit my number plate. It hit my number plate, and my number plate did dent like that. So he hit my number plate hard. And at this point, I freaked out so bad that I actually just started my car, and I started to, I just was like, okay, I'm going to go. And obviously, being the grandma that I went so slowly. I moved his bike. His bike fell, obviously. His bike fell, but then his bike hit me on the last bit of his bike. It fell anyway because I pushed it, and I pushed it to get the hell out of there. Was it something wrong that I did? I don't know. I sometimes feel bad about it. I feel bad that I pushed his bike and I went, but I don't know what else I could have done at that point. I just wanted to get out of that situation, and this person was really hurting. He was trying to hurt me physically, I mean, this person, I don't know who this person was. I don't even remember his face. He was a very normal young person. He was not middle-aged or old or anything. This person seemed to be in his late 20s maybe, or I don't know, maybe late 20s, early 30s. I don't know. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe he had a bad week. I don't know this person. I don't know his story. But he freaked me out so bad. And I still feel bad about just pushing his bike and, making it fall, basically. But it was just because it was at an angle. It was just the end part of it, because I wouldn't have it in me to just run over anything. I just wouldn't be able to do that. But I just pushed his bike, and I had to take a right. His bike was towards the left anyway. So I just pushed it. It fell that side and I went. I just was like, no, I'm not going to stay here. And I went and I just took a right and to the right because it joins the main road over here. Okay. So I was in a, there was a traffic light. So I was waiting for the signal to turn green at this point. And when I pushed this bike, when I was in the car, I had already started crying. Like, I don't know when I started crying because it was really scary. It was really, I was just so freaked out. I was so overwhelmed at that point. I don't know when, I don't know at what point I started crying, but he kept screaming and screaming and he tried to hit me and hurt me. And I started to cry. And so at the traffic light, there were so many other people, and there was this other person, and there's this person, I think he followed me and he was hurling abuses at me or something like that. And then there were these other people in front of me. There was this really middle-aged person who kept looking at me, and he kept asking me, you know, is everything okay? And I kept crying. Like, I was crying, I was howling and I was crying to nobody. I was too scared to stop the car, to even call my parents, to call the police, to call anybody. I was too scared for anything. I just didn't want to stop. It was so stupid of me. I would have basically let this guy home. But then the signal got cleared, and then I got on top of the flyover. When I got off the flyover, I was already on Necklace Road, and Necklace Road has cops, it has police, thankfully. And this middle-aged person that I mentioned, he was very sweet. He was on a scooter or on a bike or something, and this person was also on the same road as mine, but he kept looking back or looking to the side to keep checking. He kept checking me, like if I was fine. I don't know what. But then I saw two cops on a bike to the left. They were standing over there, the patrolling cops on Necklace Road. And I stopped my car there. I stopped it where they were, and this older person also stopped. And this person who was hitting me, he looked at me stop in front of these cops, and he just drove past. He just rode past on his bike. He just rode past, and I kept looking at him. I didn't know. I got out of the car. I was still crying, and I just told the cops, I was like, that's the guy. He had gone by then. I didn't get to catch his number plate. Obviously, I didn't know anything. I was too busy crying and freaking out. I had no presence of mind at that point. I don't know how I saw these cops, and I don't know what I was thinking. I'm so glad that I just had that iota of presence of mind to stop there, because then, I mean, it's just sad, but then people, you know, when you look at cops, your first reaction is not to ask for help. It's just weird. I mean, I don't know. I look at cops and I just feel a little more like uneasy than you should feel. It's just wrong. But then these guys did restore faith in me, because when I stopped the car, I started crying, and they were like, what happened? Everything okay? And then they spoke to me. I told them that that's the guy. He kept hurting me. He kept hitting my car. He kept hurling abuses. And this uncle, middle-aged person who was very sweet, he stopped his scooter too, and you know, he basically kept gesturing to me to stop. Now that I think about it, he was pointing towards the cops. He kept saying that, okay, stop here, talk to them. And I did, because he heard probably this guy hurling abuses at me or something like that. I stopped, and this person was like, yeah, I saw she was crying. She's been crying for a while now. And I was like, yeah, I'm really worried. I don't know why this person is doing that. I don't know. And he had really damaged my car. You could tell, like, there were like barely a few dents on top, not much, but the number plate and all, he had really hit it with the helmet. And I told the cops that, you know, when I pushed his bike, it fell. And anyway, obviously, I got a lot of, my car did obviously get a lot of scratches because of that. So I told them that, you know, I pushed his bike, and he the only thing I got hurt was when he hurled his helmet at my car, and it hit my bonnet and it hit my number plate and stuff. So that's what I told them. I told them exactly what had happened, and I was like, no, these scratches are because I pushed his bike. So I was just like, I was being very honest. I was like, oh, these scratches came because I pushed his bike. It's not like, you know, I mean, because I wanted to get out of that situation. I don't know if I did the right thing or not, but I just wanted to get the hell out of that situation. I'm so glad that I found those cops at that point, because they were so helpful. They were like, okay, you know what, we are going to drop you home. They asked me where I stay and stuff. They were like, okay, we are going to come with you. So this they were like, we're going to follow you, is that okay? Would you feel safer if we follow you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but wait, I need to first call my parents. And then I called my brother. I called my brother, and I got to speak to him, and I kept crying so much, and my parents freaked out. They were like, okay, we're coming to you wherever you are. And the cop spoke to my dad. He was like, no, we are going to, see that she reaches home alone. I guess this is why I'm telling you the story, because it does have a bit of good over here. These people really did step up. What you expect them to do, what you expect cops to do, really literally protect you. That's what they did, and I'm so glad that they did, because you hear stories, again, you hear so many things about cops not really helping you out, but then these guys did step up. They helped me out. They did go out of their way. They followed me. They were with me. They basically drove with me. I was like, I'll be fine. Once I crossed Necklace Road, they were like, do you want us to drop you home or what? Or they took my number, they took my phone number, they took down my car number and everything, and they were like, we're going to check on you. Do you want us to drive till your home? And I was like, no, I guess I'll be fine. I mean, this Necklace Road bit was the thing that I was probably freaked out about. And after I saw this guy basically just go away, I sort of didn't think that he would reappear again. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not. This is not a story of my bravery. This is not a story of my stupidity, but clearly it's turning out to be one. But it's just a thing that happened to me. And then I drove, basically after Necklace Road got over, I was on my own and I drove back home. And yeah, I drove back home after that, and I reached home, and then I was fine. I wasn't like, I was still, obviously I was shaken up and I was a little weepy for a few days, but I was fine then. And the kind of a person that I am, such incidents, when they are a little traumatic, I push it away so much so that it haunts me in a very weird way. Like, it'll come back in very weird ways, but I won't even remember what had happened, because I just like pick the whole incident up and I push it somewhere down there. So I haven't spoken about this incident to anybody. I don't think any of my friends know about this incident, because I had genuinely forgotten. I'm so sorry about the lighting. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know. I don't think any of my friends know about the story, because I've never spoken about it to anybody. I don't know if even Venki knows the story. Like, I've never spoken about this to anybody. And then it just came into my head the other day, and when it did, I just felt like talking about it. So I thought, why talk to people and bug them when I could just do that on YouTube and bug you all and tell you all my story. It's not a story that I'm going to ask you to like, because it's a very stupid story. I mean, it's very funny and traumatic, but it was still good, like when I did get help from the cops. So that was good, and I'm really thankful to those guys. And yeah, that was it, you guys. This was a very weird, funny, creepy story from my side, and let me know if you'd like to know more such stories from me, because I have a ton of such stories. Not such, I have a ton of different kinds of stories, but I have a ton of stories. So yeah, let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye. It's not a very bright gold or anything. That just looks a little off. It might just look slightly, it might just be a little more obvious. And with my attire and everything, I really like to keep it simple, especially for an army function. I don't